The brilliant Mexican surrealist Frida Kahlo's name will forever be etched in history books. Today, we look at the homes Kahlo lived in, with the star of the show being her Casa Azul home. In 1928, Kahlo married Diego Rivera, and the couple moved to San Francisco, California, where Rivera was commissioned to paint murals. Here, the couple stayed at a fellow artist, Ralph Stackpole's studio, at 716 Montgomery Street. The studio was only a stone's throw from North Beach and Chinatown, and next door to the Montgomery block, the oldest street on the block, built in 1853. Sculptor Ralph Stackpole's studio became a meeting point for artists in San Francisco. When she wrote to her mother, Kahlo described the house as made in a Parisian style, with a large room, thrice as big as their living room in Coyoacán. The apartment had a drawing table, sofa, chaise lounge, and a small desk. It also had another small room that served as a kitchen-cum-dining room, with a big table, gas burners, water heater, and a sink for cleaning dishes. There was a bedroom with a box bed, a Mexican chair, a small wardrobe, and a bathroom with a warm shower. The apartment was in a charming building above an exclusive and historic dining club known as the Villa Taverna. Measuring 2,530 square feet, the loft-style studios boasted creative finishes and high ceilings. Several skylights in the building allowed ample natural light to stream in. The structure also featured painted exposed brick, ornately carved entry doors, and hardwood floors. The couple left for Mexico after 6 months in San Francisco. In 1932, Rivera and Kahlo experienced a taste of luxury when they stayed at the Wardell Apartment Hotel in Detroit. This grand hotel, with its separate male and female floors, indoor fountains, and fine dining, would have left them in awe. The 12-story building still exists, standing at Woodward Avenue and Kirby Street. This location was a prime spot, with the Detroit Institute of Arts and the Detroit Public Library as its neighbors. The elegant hotel lobby boasted majestic, rectangular columns covered with gold leaf, dark marble accents, ornately done plaster ceilings, and a gorgeous antique clock hung near the reception desk. In 1933, the couple moved back to San Angel, a once small village southwest of Mexico City. Large homes lined with bougainvillea lined the charming cobblestone streets of San Angel. Juan O'Gorman, a 27-year-old architect, built 2 linked houses with a bridge for Rivera and Kahlo. The houses, or Casa Azul Diego Rivera y Frida Kahlo, were situated on a corner of Avenida Alta Vista. Rivera's house was painted pink and white, while Kahlo's was blue cobalt. The couple lived together briefly until Kahlo discovered Rivera had an affair with her sister, Cristina. She moved out, returned to La Casa Azul, and divorced Rivera in 1939, only to remarry him the following year. In 1940, when Kahlo needed medical attention, she went to San Francisco. The Golden Gate International Exposition had commissioned Rivera to paint a 10-panel mural. The two had remained friends. They reconnected, rekindled their relationship, and remarried on December 8, 1940. At the time, they were staying at 42 Calhoun Terrace, overlooking the Oakland Bay Bridge. The Telegraph Hill apartment was 650 square feet, with 1 bed and bathroom. However, the couple didn't enjoy marital bliss for long. Kahlo returned to Mexico City before Christmas, having given Rivera stringent premarital conditions. Some conditions included Rivera paying half of their household expenses, but she would pay her bills. Finally, there would be no conjugal rights for him. He accepted the conditions, however harsh they sounded. When Kahlo's father died, the couple moved into the Blue House, and Rivera used the San Angel house as his studio. They lived in Casa Azul until Kahlo died in 1954. After her death, Rivera donated the house and all the contents as a museum for the Mexican people to remember Kahlo. In September 1957, a few months before he died, Diego Rivera gave his friend, Dolores Olmedo, the key to Kahlo's bathroom in La Casa Azul. In the bathroom was a collection of items belonging to Rivera and Kahlo. Rivera had one condition: the bathroom should remain locked until 15 years after his death. The room was opened almost 50 years later, in 2004. Revealing Kahlo's Tijuana addresses, photos, and letters to her other lovers, Rivera didn't want evidence of her extramarital affairs to come to light while he was alive. La Casa Azul is a true masterpiece and was Kahlo's sanctuary. This is the house where she was born, lived for a while, and later died in her bed on the upper floor. The house was and still is unmistakable, with its signature cobalt blue exterior. La Casa Azul's address is Calle Londres 247, Coyoacán. When you reach the picturesque house, a small blue gate leads into a courtyard. Initially built in 1904, Kahlo's father, Guillermo Kahlo, designed it. The property features two buildings, the main house and the studio where Kahlo painted. Some rooms are today open to the public: Rivera's study and studio, Kahlo's bedroom and bathroom, the couple's shared bedroom, the kitchen, an art gallery, and twin courtyards. Like most homes in the area, the house was built around a 4,300 square foot garden space courtyard, a tradition in Mexico since colonial times. Initially, the house was enclosed around three sides of the courtyard. Later, they added the fourth side to make a complete enclosure. Rivera built the Lodres Street-facing wing of the house, which enclosed the courtyard. This wing was built from volcanic rock, with quaint ceramic tiles on the wall. Kahlo and the bedroom were moved to this wing, and a stone wall divided the patio into two areas, one of which was a stepped pyramid, a fountain, and various Columbian artifacts. The home also had a reflection pool and a room for the couple's collection. The house measured 8,600 square feet, with 2 floors, several bedrooms, a studio, a spacious kitchen, and a dining room. The kitchen and the dining room were decorated in a classic Mexican style, with a long yellow table, blue and yellow tile counters, and yellow floor tiles. The rooms had plates, glassware, utensils, and huge earthenware pots. Decorative items included walls decorated with tiny pots that spelled the name Rivera and Kahlo, papier-mâché Judas skeletons that dangled from the ceiling, and 2 doves tying a lover's knot. Rivera's room was off the dining room, and his work clothes, jacket, and hat still hung from a wall rack. Next to this bedroom was a stairwell leading to the upper floor from the courtyard, and numerous folk art items, including votive paintings dating from colonial times to the 20th century, more pieces from the colonial era, and extra Judas figures. The entrance hall was ornately decorated with a mosaic in natural stone. La Casa Azul originally featured French-style decorations, but later changed them to a plain blue facade. The lush greenery around the house, including flowers and cacti, gave it a serene vibe. Today, the garden has a cafe-like seating arrangement where visitors can relax and catch a breeze in the Mexican heat. Entering the La Casa Azul is like going back in time, with everything in the house a reminder of who Kahlo was, everything in its place, just as it was when she was alive. And it almost feels like she might wheel in her wheelchair at any moment. Kahlo derived great inspiration from Mexican culture and native folk themes. Her physical and emotional pain greatly influenced her art, which gave her a platform to express herself. For instance, when she found out Rivera cheated, she painted a piece called Wounded Table. The couple's tumultuous relationship was because both had affairs with other people while still married. Her dress code was distinctly Mexican, as evidenced by the numerous Tijuana dresses in her locked bathroom and her portraits. Kahlo wore long skirts to hide a polio-withered leg, which happened when she was just 6 years old. The entrance features sturdy double wooden doors. The cobalt blue on the house's exterior is significant in Mexican law too, indicating spiritualism. Blue is considered spiritual as it makes up the sky, representing heaven and the god Shak, the patron deity of agriculture and rain. The exterior also features traditional sculptures and Mexican architecture, including decorative tiles and elaborate wrought iron windows. Kahlo's studio looks the same as it might have when she was alive. The artist spent most of her waking hours in this studio, and her brushes, easels, and palettes are all neatly arranged. All around the studio are photographs, sketches, and paintings showing her prowess and the different influences shaping her artistic expression. She had portraits of people she loved, like her husband Rivera, plus portraits of cultural icons and Mexican revolutionists. As a committed communist, Kahlo expressed her support for the Mexican Revolution and her political beliefs via her art. She also had a collection of antique pre-Columbian folk art and artifacts. Her wheelchair sits there, a moving reminder of the immense pain she lived with all her life. The studio was adjacent to her bedroom, where she spent most of her time, especially when recovering from the numerous surgeries she had throughout her lifetime. Kahlo's bedroom was a beautiful mix of history and art. The white walls were decorated with religious artifacts and folk art. Her magnificent canopied four-poster bed was the star of the room. Her father had installed a mirror for her so she could see herself as she painted her portraits. In a mosaic pool below Kahlo's studio, you can still see a spouting fountain whose bottom has emerald frog shapes. One wall is decorated with cobalt niches and conch shells. Kahlo's love for nature led her to paint clay pictures under the house's eaves as a dove's nesting place. The kitchen shelves are lined with traditional cookware such as ceramic dishes, clay pots, and gorgeous hand-painted plates. Each piece has stood the test of time and proves the quality of Mexican craftsmanship. The kitchen also held sculptures, religious artifacts, and votive candles, showing Kahlo's dedication to her Catholic faith. The garden and courtyard featured cobblestone paths that wind carefully through the green vegetation, which includes trunking yuccas, palms, flowering bulbs, shrubs, and ivy. As you wind down the paths, you come upon a pyramid-shaped red stucco sculpture with pre-Hispanic sculptures placed all around. Frida was cremated, and her remains were immortalized in an antique urn from Rivera's collection. The urn, which stands next to a mirror, has become the centerpiece of La Casa Azul. Kahlo passed away in July 1954 at the age of 47. She left a legacy of creativity and resilience. After her death, Rivera returned to San Angel until he died in 1957. Today, La Casa Azul is a museum showcasing her belongings and a living testament to her art. The museum gets around $25,000 per month and is one of Mexico's and Coyoacán's most visited museums.